President Obama's reelection team has decided that they will, in fact, encourage super PACs on the Democratic side. Now, this reverses a long-held position by President Obama that he did not want to encourage his supporters to donate to super PACs. In the 2008 election, he also reversed the decision to take public financing. He decided not to take it. He raised $750 million on his own, used that, had a lot more money than John McCain, and that was an interesting issue back then. But even in that election, he very much discouraged people from doing independent expenditures on his behalf. Now, that was partly out of principle and partly because they wanted to control the message better. They thought if it goes to independent groups, they won't be able to control it as well. They're control freaks at the Obama White House and the Obama reelection campaign and in the original election campaign as well. We saw that over and over again in the last 3 years in the White House. But in this case, they thought, we are so swamped with money here that we don't have a choice. And they point to not just Obama versus Romney, and we've shown you those numbers recently on the show as to who's raising more money. And when you include the super PACs, et cetera, Romney catches up because Obama has the larger amount of money designated just to himself, right? Just to his campaign. But when you include independent expenditures like the Koch brothers groups, Karl Rove's two groups, American Crossroads, Crossroads GPS, which combined just those two groups have $51 million they've already raised, okay? When you put those into the pot, well then the Obama side gets swamped. They only have $19 million in their super PAC. And what this decision is doing is saying, hey, you know what? Of course, as always, they've split the baby here. President Obama, nor his spouse, nor the vice president, nor his spouse will actually go to raise money for this super PAC, but other administration officials, other reelection campaign officials can go. But then, like Mitt Romney does, they will give a speech, et cetera, saying basically this PAC has our seal of approval. And then when they go to raise the money, they will leave the room. Wow. So that's not coordination. The whole system is absurd. Now, there's two sides to this question. One is, well, they didn't want to do unilateral disarmament. That's what his campaign chair, Jim Messina, says. The other side is, this is grossly hypocritical. Well, on the side of we had to do it is David Axelrod. So let's go to clip number one here.
The bottom line here is that the Citizens United decision was a bad decision from our perspective. It did open the floodgates, but now the rules are what the rules are. You've seen the impact already. These super PACs have spent over $40 million in these Republican primaries, 99% of it on negative ads. We see Karl Rove, the Koch brothers, and others talking about raising, up to collectively upwards of $500 million to try and defeat the president. And we were faced with this situation as to whether we could afford to play by two sets of rules. And the answer is obviously no. And the president's going to continue to fight for ways to reform that system in the future. But that's not going to happen in this campaign. No. And we have to live in the world as it is, not as we want it to be.
Well, I half agree with that. I'll get to the agreement part in a second. But the part where he says, oh, well, this president is going to do all he can to reverse Citizens United. Really? All he can is nothing at all? What's the legislation he's offered to reverse Citizens United? What's the amendment he's backing? Oh, right, zilch, squat, nothing. President Obama campaigned on changing that system, and he hasn't done a damn thing about it. Now, on the opposite side of Axelrod is Russ Feingold, who, of course, is trying to get money out of politics, and he's got a whole group dedicated to that whole issue. And what is his take on this? He says, quote, "It is a dumb approach. It will lead to scandal, and there are going to be a lot of people leaving corrupt conversation or having corrupt conversations about huge amounts of money that will one day regret that they went down the route of what is effectively a legalized Abramoff system." Strong words, they only get stronger. He also said, quote, "I also think it guts the president's message and the Democratic Party's message." And then finally, if all of that wasn't strong enough, he said, quote, "This is dancing with the devil." All right. So former Senator Feingold's position is eminently clear on this. So who do I agree with? Now, everybody who watches the Young Turks knows I'm going to say Feingold, right? Wrong again, Bob! It turns out in this case, believe it or not, I believe that Axelrod and the president's reelection team is right. But with an enormous caveat. Now, here's the thing. if I'm running a political election, you think I'm going to unilaterally disarm? I'm going to say, oh, on principle, I want to take the high road and I'm going to go ahead and not collect Super PAC money while Mitt Romney comes in and just destroys me, pulverizes me with negative ads with all of his Super PAC money that he raised from the Wall Street guys and the oil billionaires, et cetera. Oh, no way. That's not how I roll. No, if he's got a club, I'll get 2 clubs and we'll go to war, okay? But here is the enormous caveat. But then you've got to turn around and say, hey, listen, if I win re-election, my central focus will be to make sure that I do campaign finance reform. Because that's what you promised us last time. You said you would do it. You said you would change the way Washington works. In fact, Larry Lessig has all these great quotes from the president. I just want to give you some here. He said back in April 2008 when he was running for president, but let me be clear. This isn't just about ending the failed policies of the Bush years. It's about ending the failed system in Washington that produces those policies. For far too long, through both Democratic and Republican administrations, Washington has allowed Wall Street to use lobbyists and campaign contributions to rig the system and get its way no matter what it costs ordinary Americans. He was absolutely right. And he said one more thing, quote, unless we're willing to challenge the broken system in Washington and stop letting lobbyists use their clout to get their way, nothing else is going to change. He was absolutely right about that. And then what did he do about it? Not a damned thing. So if he's willing to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do health care. I'm not going to do energy, climate change. All these things are enormously important. I'm not going to do any of it until I do the first and most important thing. Change the way Washington works. We are going to have an amendment that takes money out of politics. Otherwise, these super PACs are going to buy every politician going forward. If he did that, and then he says, but in this election, I can't disarm, I'm going to take the super PAC money, and we hope it is for the last time if you vote for me, then we could have a conversation.